The Black Ops Call of Duties are the only Call of Duty games I care about. Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and Ghosts are fine, World War II is alright, but I could care less about the Modern Warfare games. Other than World at War, I've actually put more hours than I should in all of the Black Ops games, especially Black Ops 6. I do in the near future intend to play most, if not all, of the Call of Duty games on my channel, but then I remembered Black Ops 4 existed, and Black Ops 4 doesn't have a dedicated single-player mode. And this is, all things considered, a black sheep in the Black Ops era of COD. So I think the best way to talk about Black Ops 4 is by just doing an in-depth review of the game. So let's start from the top. It's not a secret that Black Ops 4 had a rough development cycle. Initially, the game was going to have a traditional campaign that would have been a sequel to Black Ops 3, but that never happened. Then they were going to do a 2v2 campaign mode, where you would have picked a faction with a friend or AI bot, and complete a series of missions against the other faction, which would have consisted of 2 players or bots. I have no idea how this would have worked, but this sounds sick in concept, and I would have loved to see this. But unfortunately, we didn't get this, and instead we got something called Specialist HQ, which is our campaign substitute. Consisting of 10 or 20 levels, depending on how you want to look at it, Specialist HQ is set before Black Ops 3, but after Black Ops 2. I don't think it matters what Black Ops 2 ending, but it is set between these two games. Similar to how Black Ops Declassified is set between Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Now, oddly enough, I think Black Ops Declassified did a better job of this because Declassified is a handheld spin-off and Black Ops 4 is a mainline game for, at the time, current-gen consoles. And I'm honestly more confused with this game attempting to bridge the gap than I was without this game attempting to bridge the gap. So I'm going to try to piece the story together. From what I can gather, the Specialists Ruin and Battery were on a mission with, I'm guessing, David Mason's daughter. The mission went sideways and David's daughter died. His other daughter held a funeral for her, and then recruited a team of other specialists to combat the people who killed her sister. Who these guys are is not explained at all. The team is being trained by Frank Woods, who is something called an archetype. That's apparently a way for dead people to come back as robots or something. I don't really know. Frank trains the various specialists in some augmented reality training simulator, but then the mercenaries that they're fighting hunt them down, and that's it. I can't make wind of what the story was trying to tell, and the gameplay doesn't help at all. The cutscenes also are very confusing to watch. So like I said, they forewent a campaign but still tried to have lore. Now they could have done something really cool with this concept, but they just didn't. Initially I thought they were going to do something like Star Wars Battlefront 2, where the campaign story was told through modified multiplayer matches. But it just isn't. There are 2 types of missions in the game, the tutorial and the skirmish. The tutorial is a heavily modified and scripted multiplayer match where you play as one of the specialists and learn how to use their gadget ability and a certain kill streak. Then you play a skirmish match against AI bots as that specialist, with the purpose of the match to teach you how to play the specific game mode. Now this is where I think they dropped the ball hard. Instead of these just being canonically in AR training mode, they could have had the tutorial part act as a somewhat linear mission of the operator you're playing as, doing some sort of covert Black Ops-y thing against the mercs, and then they get alerted and the skirmish mission is the rest of the Black Ops coming in to bail you out. With just a few changes to the cutscenes, they easily could have used the included maps to tell the story of David's daughter dying on a botched mission. Now before anyone says that this would have been too much work, it might not have been possible with the game engine, I say bullshit. They clearly could, they just didn't, and that's because the tutorial, where you play as Recon, does have some major differences in the core gameplay. This is honestly the best level in the game, and that's because there's a twist, where the enemies you fight are the enemies from the zombies mode. It's dumb, just like the other 2 Black Ops games where you randomly fight zombies in the campaign for some reason. But it's the only mission that's unique to the others. They easily could have just used some of the existing merc models, have them replace the specialist bots that act as your enemies, then have the conflict of mercs versus Black Ops have some stakes in the single player mode. But we didn't get that, because that would have been cool. Instead we got a literal half-assed attempt add a single player mode that doesn't answer any questions or even tell a story. Which is a shame because even the worst Black Ops campaigns at least have some redeeming qualities in that they try to do something different and unique. This one didn't do that, and that's just a great shame. Now the reason why they didn't try to do that is because of this game's main mode, Blackout, a battle royale mode made to cash in on the BR popularity in the early 2020s. Now coming into Blackout 6 years after it released, I unsurprisingly found it kinda dead. I could only find a few matches, and since I'm not a fan of battle royales to begin with, I didn't really want to spend a ton of time trying to find other matches. I played 2 matches on Alcatraz, died immediately in my first game, did okay all things considered my second game, and then tried the other Blackout map, and was team killed for some reason. That turned me off from the mode, and I didn't want to try playing it for a 4th time, when the mode just isn't appealing to me at all. Now I will be nice, and while I don't like BRs, this isn't horrible. The maps are nicely populated, and zombie AI enemies show up every now and again to keep you and the other players on your toes. If you're playing on console and split screen, you can play Blackout in 2-player split screen, both on and offline, which I don't think Warzone has at all. I honestly think this is kinda cool. It does give some worth to the mode, and I'll be honest, it was fun exploring the map in local split screen in 2020 during the COVID lockdown. That's actually when I started playing Black Ops 4, but didn't care for online PvP at the time, so I just played around on this map with my dad in split screen a few times. I can see why people like this mode, it's just not for me. Now Blackout is clearly where they wanted the moneymaker to be, but that doesn't mean they sacrificed the multiplayer for it. Black Ops 4 multiplayer is probably the most unique COD multiplayer on the market simply by mechanics alone. Instead of the traditional regenerative health, you can only get your health back by stimming yourself, similar to, I think, the first Call of Duty? The game is also noticeably slower than World War II and even Black Ops 3's multiplayer, and they even advertise it as a tactical experience. That's clearly not the case, but I appreciate the effort in making it different. It also introduces one of my all-time favorite COD modes, Control, to the franchise, and it's easily the best mode in the game. Now as you can see, I'm sadly playing against bots because there's just not a ton of lobbies still, and I really don't want to be destroyed by people who know everything about the game. The map variety is pretty good, none of them really connect to anything due to lack of a campaign, but there are some pretty good maps here, a lot from Black Ops 1 and 2. There's also some nice variants that act as bonus multiplayer maps, like Jungle that's completely flooded. These are nice inclusions, and without the DLC, you have a pretty nice selection of maps. I don't have the Blackout Pass, so I can't comment on the DLC maps at all, so I do apologize for that. If I had anything to complain about, it's that Safeguard and the new Heist mode are unplayable against AI bots, which is a shame because Safeguard is a lot of fun, and Heist looks cool. Also, I really don't like that this game doesn't have 4-player split screen and multiplayer. Call of Duty has always been somewhat inconsistent with split screen. Up until Black Ops 2, pretty much every mainline console game had 4-player split screen. COD 3 on PS3 didn't have it at all, but every other COD did. Then Ghosts and Advanced Warfare only had 2-player split screen. Black Ops 3 on PS4 and Xbox One did have 4-player split screen, but not on PS3 or 360. It didn't have it at all on those platforms. Infinite Warfare, World War II, and Modern Warfare Remastered only had 2-player split screen as well. Black Ops 4 does have 4-player split screen, but only in zombies, while multiplayer is locked to 2 players for some reason. I'm guessing the only reason is because multiplayer shares the same code with Blackout, which can't support 4-player split screen. It's a shame too, because I would have understood if zombies didn't support 4-player split screen, like how it wasn't supported in Black Ops 1. Honestly, if this game had 4-player split screen for the multiplayer, I would have had more to say because I would have played it more. I like the Black Ops multiplayers, and this one is good, but I don't have a lot to say because I never really played it a ton due to lack of 4-player split screen and also my lack of interest in playing PvP games online. I know it sounds dumb, but that's where I'm at. Most of my playtime in this game is in zombies. Now I am not a COD Zombies fan. I don't hate the mode, but I don't like zombies. If COD stopped making zombies, I honestly wouldn't bat an eye. I get the appeal, but it is way too overrated a game mode. But in Black Ops 4, I actually really enjoy it. Kind of. I've only played 4 of the maps, and of the 4 I've played, I've only liked 2 of them. Voids of Despair is really cool, and I love the atmosphere and aesthetic of the map. IX is one of the coolest zombie ideas I've ever seen, and Classified is fine, I guess. I love 5 from Black Ops 1, but part of that was because I could play as JFK or Castro in it, not Richtofen or Dempsey. Nothing against them, but JFK, Robert, Nixon, and Castro are way more interesting in this location. And Blood of the Dead, I don't care about at all. I hated Mob of the Dead, so seeing this map again does nothing for me. The Chaos story is interesting, but not enough to the point where I wanted to buy the DLC, but maybe one day I will. I like the characters in this story, and the maps are unique enough to keep me entertained, and I am curious to see what the other maps in the Chaos portion of Zombies are like, but I don't know if I really want to cough up $60 for a couple of zombie maps. By far, though, the reason that I love this game, Zombies, is because of how many options you have for customization in this mode. This is the only time you can really tweak the settings for Zombies. Black Ops 2 lets you set a difficulty and what round you want to start on, but this game gives you a ton of options. Everything from the type of zombies, the length you want the game to last, the amount of points you can earn, the health of zombies and players. It's such a nice quality of life inclusion that I wish would come back in some way in some future COD title. For the first time in my time with Zombies, I actually feel like I'm progressing the map. I'm exploring the maps. I'm not getting bored after 10 minutes. I really enjoy this mode. I can totally understand why the bulk of the Zombies community doesn't like this game, but COD Zombie fans aren't exactly known for their greatest opinion on things. That's a joke. Calm down. But I can see why the easier difficulty and the changes made to how perks work, the elixir system, and many smaller things would turn off older players who grew up with certain zombie mechanics that just don't jive well with this game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a good Call of Duty Zombies experience, but I'm not saying that it's a bad game. I think a lot of the hate that this Zombies mode in particular got is definitely overhated, but as someone who has played Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World at War, and Black Ops 3 Zombies, I can definitely see why people who absolutely love those games would not like this game. I just think the mode itself is just overhated in this game in particular, similar to how Advanced Warfare Zombies got hated on for, I think, pretty unfair reasons. I'll talk more in detail on that some other day, though. To wrap this up, it's hard to critically rank this game. Black Ops 4 lacks a single-player campaign, but the things it does have are, for the most part, actually pretty good. I think this game deserves a 6 out of 10. It's far from the worst Call of Duty out there, but it's definitely one of the worst Black Ops games out there.